lots of practice, that's for sure. These girls work really, really hard all year long, starting in the summer. They get along good as a team, and good teamwork. They encourage and push each other. We have 6th graders come on the team that have maybe never done a hip-hop trick before, and our 8th graders and our 7th graders show them and help them and guide them along the way. So it's a team effort for sure.
Girls, we know it takes a lot of hard effort, and along with your hard work, you also probably have some support at home as well. So if there's anybody in the audience that is a parent, a grandparent, a brother or a sister, please stand also and let us recognize you. We appreciate your support for these girls. Fantastic. Hot smiles on those cards, the coaches say. Thank you so much. The last thing, I think Ms. Baird has a few words to say as well.
Ladies, we are so proud of you that you made state, and we don't always get to award our state winners. We'd like to have everybody ride on the fire trucks and come down Main Street and throw a big party for you. But we are hoping that the tokens of appreciation for all your hard work you will find in the bag. Those are gifts from the Henderson County Board of Education personally. Disclaimer, there's no school funds spent here. And some of our business partners. The Kentucky Farm Bureau, Mr. Chase Fulcher, RBS Design, who is our architect, and also the Kendall group here in Henderson has filled y'all's bags with some goodies. So, thank you.
Very proud of you girls. If the girls could put their bags right down in front of them. All right, Ms. Bowen, I'm going to give it to you. Okay, I need just a few girls, preferably ones that are already stretched, and I think I have a few. Emma's not going to always. We want to show one of the tricks that was in our routine since we can't do the routine. Ms. Stanley would like to see what kind of hip-hop tricks we have in there. Like, what is hip-hop? What is like this amazing, amazing routine that we did? You can do a head spring standing. That's always fun. So this is a head spring, but leaning and standing, which is difficult. We have a few that may do this. What are you going to do? Okay. You normally see that in cheerleading, but hey, tumbling is the new thing in dance now. It's huge. What else do we have?
Spider. Use that for the spider.
Okay. Now she's going to head spring out of it. Somebody do something? Because they sure were, they were not bored when you guys were performing. We couldn't keep them quiet.
Don't let them out.
She needs her teeth.
You did, Ariel. I don't have much room. Anyway, if we had a gym, we could really show you. But you can catch it on Facebook. It would be a great place to see their whole routine, I'm sure. Ladies, thank you so much for representing Henderson County in the essence that you did.
Just do 6, 7 things like we normally do.
That's the next member of the team,
Hold on just a minute, Miss Williams. I have to do the right way.
That's right. Yeah, okay.
go by the cookie tray and get some lemonade as well.
I gotta go over to my seat. Yeah, I go.
Okay, the second group of students that we would like to recognize tonight is a group of students that we've actually had up here before this fall, and we have watched them periodically. They have worked through district competitions, they have worked through regional competitions, and they too landed at state not too long ago and brought home a phenomenal trophy as well. Before I say much more, I'm gonna ask if Brian Sullivan and Matt Richardson, I know I saw Brian, Mr. Sullivan, come on up. This is the coach for the Henderson County High School academic team. Mr. Thompson, why don't you come up and join also? Mr. Sullivan, I'm gonna let you give a little bit of background about the students and then we'll call them up.
Okay. You want me to give specifics about the students and all of them, or just general what we do? Okay. With the academic team kids that we've got that won the state championship, I've never been around harder working kids in my life. Most of them are in at least 4, if not 6 AP classes, and they still manage to put in 2 to 4 hours of practice time a day, either working at our practices or on their own, because they knew they had a shot at this and they wanted it so bad. We were the Governor's Cup state champions this year, and so that involved quick recall, all the testing, composition, all of that stuff. In the last, 32 years the Governor's Cup has been in existence, and in that time only 8 schools have won this trophy, because the same schools keep winning it over and over and over. In the last 22 years, only 3 different schools have won it. Okay? Those would be Dunbar and Manual, both big magnet schools in Lexington and Louisville, and Russell. And so we broke that 22-year stretch to win that. So I guess what I would like to do, I would like to announce the students and have them come up and announce what they placed in as they come up. So I'm just going to call them as I see them and go to the back. So Zach Beitman is one of our juniors. He was 9th place in math this year. And was our main science wizard in quick recall. Austin Meredith. Austin placed 5th in math this year. This was the first year we've had anybody place in the top 10 in math since 1995, I believe. And these 2 guys were outstanding. Will Hardy. By the way, Austin is a senior. Will is also a senior. He was 3rd in Arts and Humanities and was our quick recall captain. Andrew Sauls. Andrew is our team writer. He placed 3rd in composition this year. Cole Privet. Andrew's junior. Cole is also a junior. Cole competed in Arts and Humanities at state this year. All right, who do I see back there next? Harrison. Harrison Jenkins. Harrison's just a sophomore this year, and he was 4th in the state in language arts. Harrison, give us an estimate. How many plays and books have you read this year since school started?
Maybe like 50, I'm not quite sure.
When he took at the JV Challenge competition, which is just freshmen and sophomores, when he finished the test and he came out and talked to me about it, he said he thought he had read 50 of the works that they mentioned on the test. So it's hard to beat that. He got a 49 out of 50 on that test. So, yeah. Alex Chandler. Alex is also a sophomore this year, and he competes in math. DJ Banks. DJ is a sophomore, and this year at state he was third in social studies. Social studies was where we really had the 1-2 punch at state. Isaac Etley, who's not here with us tonight, Isaac is our super political kid, and he's in Louisville helping with the Trump rally. I've been there all day doing that. Isaac was first in social studies, DJ was third in social studies, so those gave us a huge point boost. Isaac was also 8th in the state in language arts. Our quick recall team, let's see, is Riley's not here, is she? I didn't think I saw her, okay. Riley Lovell is not with us tonight. She competes in arts and humanities and was with us at state and was not able to be here tonight. She's actually, I think, very heavy on the male side. Riley's our female touch here, and I think she's the first. In the last 5 years, our quick recall team at state is placed in the top 8 for 3 years, and then last year we were 3rd, this year we came in 2nd. And she's the first girl we've had actually competing in quick recall at state in that set of years. I have a bunch more girls coming up in the next couple of years, so the whole team dynamic's going to change. But so anyway, this is the team, or 7/9 of the team that we've got here. 8/10. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with numbers. At least at the end of a long day. So we knew we had a really good shot at winning quick recall. We knew we had an outside chance of winning the whole meet. In quick recall, the first night we dominated. We beat the perennial power teams. We beat Johnson Central by 20 points, and they're a perennial power team. We beat Russell by 27 the first night. And so things were looking really good. The next day we beat Davis County, who is always a thorn in our side. Beat them by 15. Then we played a really close match against Glasgow. It went into overtime. And then we played Campbell in the final match, and it was effectively a 1-point loss. So we were 1 point. We needed one more toss-up and bonus pair, and we would have been the state champions in quick recall as well. So we were all super bummed out after that, and it was about an hour before the awards started. And so as we're sitting there, this part makes me emotional, so you just have to bear with me for a minute. But in one event after another, we just kept picking up points. And we're all sitting there doing the math. You know, it's like, okay, we got this many points. Right? For a while, we were behind Campbell, who was the team that beat us in quick recall. They had a 1st and a 6th place, I think, 6th and 7th in math, and that gave them a bunch of points. And then as we got farther along, we just kept racking up more points. They really made me nervous at Arts and Humanities because they call out the 10 kids, and they got to the 9th kid, and they hadn't called Will yet, and they called Will last, and then he came in 3rd and gave us a bunch of points. We were so excited that next was composition. They called Andrew. They also called the kid from Campbell. And so, you know, it's one of those things where they're calling up the kids from 10th place up to 1st place. They get to 5th place and they call the Campbell kid, and we all cheer because they hadn't called Andrew yet. So they thought we were cheering for them. We were really cheering for Andrew. You know, he got 3rd place now, and that put us in a situation where we were 15 points ahead of Campbell. It came down to future problem solving, but they had to win 1st place to have a chance to beat us. They would have to take 1st place in future problem solving. But they had a team in it, and so we just didn't know, and we didn't have a team in it. And so they're naming off the 10 teams. And when they got to the 10th team, and they didn't call Campbell, we just erupted because we knew we won it. So I don't even remember who that 10th place team was, but they got a standing ovation for Henderson. And so, you know, from that point, we just got to sit there for the next 10 or 15 minutes and wait for them to call us up, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, I've never seen kids work harder than these kids do. They're obsessed with this. And you know, we first practice is the first Monday after school starts. And we compete all the way into the 2nd week of June, national competitions. Yesterday, we just unofficially wrapped up. We won the NAQT, which is a different than Governor's Cup State Championship, on March 4th. On March 13th, we won the Governor's Cup State Championship. Yesterday, we unofficially wrapped up what's called the Goldenrod Cup, which is a 3rd state championship where it takes all the Saturday meets through the year and totals up all your points. Well, we're 17 points ahead now, and there's only one meet left, and the most the team can get is 10 points. So we've unofficially won that too. So we've got the triple crown of academic team this year.
Mr. Sullivan, we can tell your passion and your pride that you have in working with the students that you have, but equally, we want to share with you how much we appreciate your leadership, your time beyond the classroom. You're a phenomenal teacher for us, a great leader in the building, and also a pretty awesome coach, don't you all think? Pretty amazing, absolutely. So we appreciate you. Mr. Thompson, I think you have a few activities you want to share?
Yes, ever since, with them, me getting the email, or the text at 4 o'clock, by 8 o'clock, and my email's blowing up, they were wanting our illustrious academic team to do anything and everything, not only locally, but throughout the state. But currently, tomorrow, they will be at the city commissioners meeting for proclamation at 9:30. Some will, we have ACT going tomorrow, so if you're a junior, you're not going, you're taking ACT. Hopefully you'll do well. Then also confirmation from Senator Ridley, they'll be on the Senate floor on the 29th.
Yes.
Is that correct? On the 29th, they will be taking a trip up to Frankfurt to be on the Senate floor. Then on the 31st, we will be having a PEP assembly. Thank goodness it's on the 31st because we've got a really nice banner coming in that we're going to be hanging up in the main lobby, and some other things for our academic team to honor them in front of the school and get a banner hung up in their honor for being the state academic champion, along with a few other things. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks, but board, we invite you to come out on the 31st. And anyone else wants to come out on the 31st, we're having our Colonel Pride Awards. We'll have a lot of other students in there, but we're going to have a really nice banner. Hopefully we'll get all that in to be able to present to them all, along with some other things and celebrate school-wide. So thank you very much. Do it. Yes, parents, if you are with them, please stand this evening. Siblings and
Likewise, gentlemen, and the one lady that you were missing. When you're a school board member, and the rest of the board members will bear me out on this, a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of stuff you have to do, a lot of it's government stuff that you just have to do. But what you all do makes all of it worth it for all of us. Because there's very few pleasures in being a school board member, but seeing our kids get succeed, this is what does it for us. And you all are heroes in our eyes. So once again, you all have some gift bags from the board members and from some business partners, but we're so proud of you.
Child now. It's my 9th child. Yeah, really.
Where we putting the fire to?
4 on each side.
This desk is kind of way over here. Did you try to get it?
I do have one photo I have to share with you. I did see Mr. Sullivan. I was standing out in the hall, and I looked up the other day, and I saw Mr. Sullivan come out the door for the main office. And there he is with the glass door open, has a measuring tape, so I've got that. He was measuring.
You had to make sure the thing would fit.
Oh, sorry, did you? Which way do we go?
Gentlemen, please make sure you help yourself to cookies and lemonade in your honor as well. State championship, it doesn't get much better.
Thank you all. Moving on to public participation and recognition of guests. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? I don't have any papers filled out that anyone's come to see us. Okay, moving on to approve the minutes from the prior meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the March 6th special meeting work session?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to committee reports, Budget Committee. And since I was sitting in as a fill-in for Dr. Sugg during our Budget Committee, I'm going to just go over some few brief notes from that. Cindy and Steve Steiner and several of our principals and representatives from our schools have all gotten together to form this finance committee. Cindy had given over all the information about our bond payments and how they're all financed. She's also listed how much the rank and step would be a cost increase for us for 2017, knowing that that's going to be part of our budget. We didn't get into a whole lot of detail because our budget we haven't gotten very far and we don't have information from the state yet, but Steve Steiner also said that he had been in meetings with the principals and conversations with them, Donnie and Billy, about the HVAC status for most of our schools, which is a huge concern. We realize that the R22 coolant has got to be out by 2020. And we've got a lot of equipment that's going to have to be transitions over, so that's part of our plan. They're going to have to be part of our budget as well. The committee members brought suggestions to us, which we had a scribe write down, and Mr. Steve is compiling and put back out for everyone. They brought lists of things that they would love to have in their school, their wish for list, things that they can't do without, and then also possible savings. So that was a pretty long list, but we were tickled to death to get the information back from the schools because a lot of it was things that us as board members hadn't thought about. They're down in the trenches and hear things and think of things that we don't think of. So it was very eye-opening that some of the suggestions that they brought. Mr. Steiner and his staff are looking into which one of those can be implemented and is going to get back to us on a later date from that. So is there any questions about the Finance Committee, Mr. Board members? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciated you all letting me join you, and hopefully next time Dr. Sugg can be back in her chair. I don't have a date for the next week yet. Yeah. Okay, moving on to reports. We have a maintenance report. Mr. Billy Austin.
Good evening. Good evening. There you go, it's working. Just a couple of years ago, Mr. Steiner, Mr. Thacker, and myself had reached out to all of the principals and the custodial staff just to kind of get an idea of what they seen as being an issue in their facilities, what their needs were. So we could kind of do a pre-plan for the LPC committee, which is just, we're right now getting started on the LPC. And that way we've already worked through some of the smaller items that the teachers, the principals and custodial staff had on the list. I sent you a copy of all of the facilities, buildings, everything we have, which ranges from schools 64 years old through the facility we're in. Spotsville Elementary is going very well. Foundations, perimeter foundations are all poured. Most of the stem walls are up, and they're starting to rough in the plumbing and electrical, so Spotsville's coming along real well. In energy management, we're looking at trying to do a little more upgrades to LED
lighting, and I'd like to try to move forward with some of the LEDs in gymnasiums because they're our big energy consumption, and we're getting to count on how many LEDs how many lights there is in some of our schools, so we can start trying to convert our facilities over to LEDs because of the quick payback and the energy savings that would keep money in the general fund. We also have some with 1.2 million square feet under roof. We still have a lot of roofing that's got a lot of age on it that we're going to have to be looking forward to. Some paving projects where, you know, Mother Nature's hard on the paving, freezing and thawing, everything gets broke up after so many years of use. And as Ms. Baird mentioned, the R22 phase out is for 2020, which that's when it will no longer be available. The only thing that will be available is what we have been able to recover or recycle. But we won't just jump in and take out units that, you know, that are in good shape. What we want to do over years is we will have to start, instead of repairing some of these older units, we're going to have to start replacing them. And as she said, it is going to be an expense that we need to figure into the budget to start replacing chillers. We have probably close to 80% of our heating, our cooling, and some of it's heating because a lot of it's heat pumps, is R22. For example, we have 3 chillers at Henderson County High School. One chiller has approximately 495 pounds of R22 in the chiller over like the east side. And 10 years ago, R22 was in the neighborhood of $100 for a 30-pound drum. The last count I got, it was just over $900 for the same 30-pound drum, because the closer we get to 2020, they're going to force you to change out and upgrade the equipment. So we just need to be looking toward doing that. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for all your support, and y'all was able to get us some upgraded vehicles, and it was much needed and much appreciated. And is there any questions you have for me?
Members, any questions? You read off how many million feet you have under roof?
1.2 million.
And how many people do you have working in your maintenance
We
department?
have counting office staff and Don and I, we have 18 people, 19 if you count. We do have Marcus Parker, who is dedicated specifically to the high school for doing their maintenance work, like changing ballast and doing what handyman type work that he can do over there. So we still have to have people work around the high school. And we completed approximately just over 3,200 work orders in the last year. One work order, for example, could be anything from HVAC system in this, one of the HVAC systems in this room not working, or it could be one work order takes care of all of the work that's done at the football field for a whole year. So almost between 32 and 3,300 work orders, ranging anywhere from just a typical work order to a complete year of work at the wastewater plants. You know, we have 3 sewage treatment plants that we do work orders, one for a whole year.
That's a phenomenal amount of work for a great team, and we so appreciate all your work.
Thank you. And I do have a great bunch of men working for us over there. We do have a great crew.
So
I just wanted to add to it, and it's not a 40-hour work week, 8 to 5. If a roof leaks or something happens on the weekend, you all are there, and we appreciate you all being pretty much round the